Greetings, everyone, those present, both offline and online, irrespective of our location. All that matters is that we're safe. These technical difficulties only stimulate us, instigate in us new movement. That's my opinion. So just to support everyone and break the ice so that nobody feels ashamed of what. So art and art therapy in the space of creativity and psychoanalysis is my presentation. I would like to start with the creative part because art is a translator, transfer of the today that forms history and identity of the nation and each individual separately. I finished the presentation recently, and yesterday uh, I had a message, and I wanted to diversify my presentation for the third day of the conference, and within the context of the third day of the conference, and in Bukovinsky rituals of wedding, we always celebrate for 3 days. However, currently the war conditions beg to differ, and the only thing we can do is to adjust to what is happening. Next slide, please. I would like to further elaborate on the exhibition. As you can see, rakes on the floor. This is a symbol. Actually, yesterday I saw a rake in front of the doors. I will bring and show you later to those online. I was preparing for this presentation, and I prepared this presentation earlier, but the rake is very important for us because don't step on the same rake twice, as they say, because that has to do something with our creativity, our identity, and how are we actually stepping. This is what happens from time to time, and we do understand that again and again, unless we nurture the negative influence and the destructive impact on us, we will keep standing on these rakes, running in place. So once again, the rakes and the exhibition you can see in front of you. This is by Alexei Sai in Mr. City Kropivnitsky 2017. It's called Don't Step on the Rake. And this is very important installation for us today. Because when you're outside of the conference and you see a rake, you can recall the Ukrainian nation, and you will understand it better because that's what we are facing. But it's our choice whether we step on them or whether we move past them without getting trapped. And this is what our identity hinges on. As the last slide mentioned, that our identity hinges upon our choice. Next slide, please. Just a moment. Would like to read out the quote on the slide. Creative expression can be part of art therapy. However, art therapy uses this process as a means of improving betterment of psychological state and emotional well-being. Thus, art therapy is directed towards therapeutic purpose, whereas creative expression is just expressing without any therapeutic goals. So new culture and art. We'll look at it through the perspective of modern art, where we can see that edifices of academia and canons are long gone, whereas self-expression and emotional expression is present. So performance demonstrates meanings, the work of art of the artist reforms in his consciousness and becomes more understandable for the viewer. The new culture emerges, and the artist becomes the bridge of nonverbal communication. I would like to emphasize that our culture is the beginning and the end and the prolongation of us. I would like to mention something unpalatable, that after the USSR and the idea of demolishing our culture is something to be said in connection with psychoanalysis, because we do understand that it comes from the early childhood. And yesterday we had a conversation about it, about art.
About like this knowledge and these skills, such initial art potential as it was cut before at schools. It was considered like the more talented the child is, the more we teach the child, but the more not artistic child is, the less they teach the child and say, oh, you are such a stupid child. It was like in Soviet Union, this attitude. For example, to parents of some children, it was said, oh, your child can't do that, can't do this. This was the attitude of Soviet Union. Child perceives information first of all visually. Anything that we want to touch, first of all, we before touching it, we look at the child. When the child is born, its eyes open, and this opening of eyes is like first art, first child's art, and and uh, and further further the sense of art in the child is developed further every day in life. We have to emphasize on our identity as a Ukrainian nation raising children. Next slide, please. Here are represented artworks of Ukrainian artists: Галина Очич, Максиміра Янушкова, is from city Dnipro, Lviv, Чернівці city. Artist Irina Popovich, they paint with aquarelle, watercolors. They are not psychologists, they are just artists. These are not art therapeutical paintings. They are, it's just art. Do you see any art therapeutical features in these paintings? These pictures are drawn without those like Soviet Union rules like this is forbidden to draw, that is not acceptable. These artists, they didn't use any of those rules, any of those frameworks. They are like free artists. They yes, maybe some people will start judging me that I don't I don't very much support frameworks within which artists should draw, because artists should be like free in their thinking and how they depict the reality and emotions. It's like, look, in every painting there's a certain emotion, like, and it cannot be restrained. Next slide, please. When we see, for example, these kinds of images, what do you see here? Art therapy or art? Ask yourself a question. Art or art therapy? This is a Chinese erotic diary drawn in 2007, 2002. That's the famous artist she presents her paintings. She's been presenting her paintings in different museums for 20 years. These pictures were drawn before war. Here's the next slide, please. The image is called loss. What do you pay attention first of all on this picture compared to previous pictures? Uh, the matter is that this picture is about loss. This is our therapeutical work. My client is 13 years old. She is experiencing loss, and she drew this picture. And this picture is called Rain. Can you see rain here now? I would say it's not our therapeutical product, but it was art actually. And here are another two pictures. I guess you know Maria Oranta. This is modern Ukrainian icon. These are my works called Politics and Religion. I want to say that art dictates policy, art dictates religion. And when we see everything that's depicted in churches, temples, in old buildings, on the walls, these are the sources, and we understand this will be, was, and it's here now. I will not be reading uh, because I don't have time. Traumatized humanity, traumatized art. Can there be any not traumatized person nowadays in Ukraine? There, everybody in Ukraine experienced a certain degree of fear. Everybody developed some defense mechanisms and adapted to the situation. If we talk about in the importance of the next generation, we can say it will be difficult for them, and it will, and the sphere of art, it will be hard for artists as well. Here, here it's about symbolism on this slide. One picture was drawn in 2019 and the other 2023. Yes, there are symbols. Here are spots, hands, and here is the river Dnipro. The picture with the hand up is there's the river Dnipro. Do I want to draw it? I guess no, but collective subconscious dictates another thing. Yes, I draw this because I have clients, I have groups, they feel the situation in Ukraine. So I draw a picture like this. Um, yes, I do workshops, and I also let people, I present art therapy and people draw. And negative experience of many people says, no, I cannot draw. But that's why first we do a breathing exercises, we tune our bodies, and then we draw, and they can draw, the participants of workshops. Another slide is expanding opportunities. Please make a picture of this slide if you want. There is no time for me to read. Here is the work of one of the artists. She's my colleague from Odessa city. It's also here is another slide, please. It's psychoanalysis. We see that a game is the expression of art activity. It's not an instinct. It makes the child develop and reflects the relationship of the child with reality. That's what I was talking about, the relationship with reality. Here is the next slide. Kohut's polarized metaphysical model of the self. There are two pictures. On one picture is written the name of the city that was bombarded, Kherson. This is the work of one of my dead students. Do we want to create this way? Do we want to work like this with trauma in this way? We have always worked with trauma as in 2014, through 2014 up till now. I will be very quick, I have no time. Art therapy and adolescents and teenagers, the slide is called. I very often work with refugees. I use acrylic paint. They draw with their hands, fingers, or with anything they can use, they draw with. Here's another slide. In the middle, it's a picture with buildings, teenagers, a group of teenagers, they drew it. There was no aim to depict a certain building. Somebody drew a fortress, and there he depicted the symbols of Nazism. So teenagers express themselves like this. So you see, teenagers are traumatized, and here you see fire. So teenagers draw fire. It means, is it about resilience, or is it about a very serious psycho trauma of our next generation? Because our children in 5-10 years will be building our country in the future. Here is another picture called December. Lysik is the name of the city Lysychansk. Now she moved to Чернівці. It was important to meet with my client, with this child, my client. This she and her grandmother and grandfather, they died in the basement. And she and the other people who were with her, they were burying grandmother and grandfather. No, she's alive, but they were burying. And then I met with this girl, and this is the picture she wanted to give me as a present. I took this picture, and I said later on, this picture, I told her this picture will represent Ukraine, and she told me, I want to be like you. I want to be like an artist like you. And these two trees represent grandmother and grandfather that we are together. I couldn't fail representing this picture to you, and there are many such pictures. But this child, she's in my heart. I cannot show my feelings in front of her, but now I'm feeling very emotional. I know there is not enough time for my report. I'll be finalizing. On this slide, children are using felt pen, two felt pens in one hand, as you see. We use felt pens, watercolor felt pens. Why we use them? Because they do not get dry very quickly. And it's very useful for adolescents and children. Please, next slide. Here's the last slide will be. It's from my exhibition, War Elements. I have many contacts with people from Kherson city in collective subconsciousness. Okay, what's written here? Here's what's written. Me and my brother would like it here. We will visit you again. Glory to Armed Forces of Ukraine and to Ukraine. We are waiting for victory. Bogdan is from city Kherson, Kakhovka. He and his brother are left alone, and I found who left these words. And for the sake of one such event, one such person like Bogdan, who wrote these words, we understand that we do not simply work. And when we get together on such conferences, all of us art specialists, we value our work, we share, we are inspired, we are together, and we will continue work for the sake of such children, Bogdan or Amalia. Um, we will we will help them. And the last thing, the last slide, it's called a dot, final dot. Mm. I'm grateful I'm so glad to speak here. I know I wanted to present more information than was allowed. Thank you for letting me do it. Thank you very much. I love you, all of you.